Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Our next pair of speakers are incredible. And so I want to introduce both of them. Actually, I'll start with introducing Heather and then let Heather introduce Danielle, who she's interviewing. So Heather Hartnett is the CEO and general partner of Human Ventures, where she's created one of the premier startup studios and early stage venture funds headquartered in New York City, but active across the US and I think perhaps even internationally. Since launching under Heather's leadership, Human Ventures has invested in and helped build more than 65 companies, including companies you might be very familiar with, like The Skim, Tia Health, Tiny Organics, Reserve, Current, and more. Heather's also very active in the venture community. She serves on the leadership board of Tech NYC, Transact Global, Trilantic Capital Partners Founders Council, AARP Innovation Council, Summit Impact. She's been listed in Entrepreneur's 100 Women of Influence and the 50 Most Influential Women in America by Marie Claire. There is a frequent speaker, and I'm so excited that she's joining us today in conversation with Danielle McLaughlin. So Heather, why don't I bring you up on the stage? There you go. And I'll let you introduce Danielle.
Thank you, Catherine. What an incredible summit. Women empowering women. This is incredible. And thank you for that very kind intro. So it is my pleasure to be here with Danielle McLaughlin, who is the VP and Chief of Staff at Casa Komos Brands Group, and we lovingly call it CKBG. And CKBG is a global luxury food and beverage organization, and they have some incredible hero brands like the fastest growing luxury tequila Komos. You can see it over my shoulder. It's my favorite beverage. She prior to really joining CKBG at its inception, she led the talent and organizational design strategy for Moet Hennessy and the luxury wines and spirits division of LVMH. And I really resonate with Danielle because she's built her career around a deep passion for empowering people to reach their highest potential. And I think that this is a skill that is oftentimes, when in an organization, is the biggest accelerant of success. And it's not always well defined. And so we, chief of staff can mean a lot of different things, but it really is first and foremost somebody who has impeccable organizational skills and high EQ together. So IQ and EQ together is really where I think leadership shines the most. So welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much for being here. I guess I wanted to first just talk to you about the fact that you're in the luxury space. You have been, and so I wanted to ask you, what is that like to be able to hire internally and create a luxury brand that both your consumers feel and create an organization that exemplifies that?
Yeah. One, thank you for the lovely, amazing introduction. It's always weird hearing somebody else give your bio, and it's amazing. So thank you. No, I've been in the luxury goods industry for well over a decade at this point. And one of the, most critical pieces around luxury is understanding what the core tenets are. One, it's thinking about it as a consumer as well as somebody who is on the internal brand side. Luxury at the end of the day is really based around how you're making people feel. So yes, obviously there are all these amazing, beautiful brands that people are very well versed in and know by name and sight. But at the end of the day, the reason why people are buying the luxury brands that they're buying and spending, all of the money in the world on them is really about the emotional connection that people are making with those brands and how those brands are making them feel, which is something that is really similar in the world of hospitality. So when we're building our internal organization and when you're developing people internally, it's important to take the same approach that you do with the brand itself in the way that you're developing your people. You want to make your people feel like they are in, an organization that understands them, an organization that they have a connection with and have a close affinity to, and feel like they're really a part of something and building something from the ground up. So it really is a lot about the way that you're truly making people feel, making them heard, and meeting them where they're at when it comes to how you're developing people individually.
I love that. I think that making the parallel of hospitality to internal culture building is a really big one. I think, as I'm a technology investor. A lot of times we also are investors in consumer goods too. But when you're seeing the world kind of automate itself so readily, that the people connection, the human connection is so important. So as you're thinking about building out your brand, maybe some tactical kind of applications that because you've been a part of something that's grown very fast, very quickly. So clearly, people's roles change. How do you think about building an internal culture that allows for that flexibility?
Yeah, it's, a lot of it is focusing on how you're best empowering people first. So one, COVID changed a lot of things for all of us in terms of the way that people are connecting and building a community together. But, in addition to that, in the last, 10 plus years, one of the things that has changed immensely in just the world of work is careers are no longer as black and white defined or set up to be such a clear, straight path where, it used to be where you walk into an organization and they tell you, if you want to get here, these are the exact roles that you need to take to get there, and how long you have to be in each role, what all the exact specific skill sets are on paper that you need in order to get to where you want to go. We're now in a world where again, it's the soft skills are something that are the most important. What I care the most about when it comes to hiring people and developing people internally is hiring for potential versus hiring for those physical, those black and white skill sets. It's the most important thing is that you're bringing people in who can scale with you in your organization as, the organization grows. And the way that our team has been able to shape that out and the approach that we've taken is we want our organization and our individual people to be the ones who are defining the way that their roles grow with the organization. We are a startup at the end of the day, so we don't know what things are going to look like in the next, 6-12 months in terms of what the needs are going to be within the organization or what the needs are going to be for each individual role. So it's up to those people, the person in the role. You as an individual are the person who's the best suited to be able to define what is needed out of your role and how your role is going to continue to grow and shape within the organization. So it's important for you as an individual to, be your own self-advocate in a lot of ways and speak up. And when you see that there's an opportunity, when you see that there's a gap within your organization, be the person to fill that gap, be the problem solver. It's, in terms of the stuff that you can easily, automate and look up, online or have something outsourced to, the things that we need and value internally are those softer skills and the critical thinking and the agility that people have to, say like, oh, I see that there's a gap here. Why don't I be the person who's going to fill that gap? And that's the best way to stand out internally. And it's the best way to really leave your mark on both, your individual role as well as the organization as well.
One thing I know about your company, it's really centered around some of the incredible people who founded your founding team, who you are. And as our name suggests, we care a lot about the humans who build the company. When you're thinking about building up the culture for CKBG, how have you thought about kind of the core tenets of what you stand for, and what's a little bit something that could be different? I mean, you've had experience in big luxury brands and all different types of products. So how is it different from what you're starting with the ground up?
The main focus for us has been really honing in on the fact that, yes, we are a luxury, spirits company and a luxury food company at the end of the day, but we're, first and foremost, a hospitality company and a hospitality brand. And that really is focused on how you do things. So, what you're doing is important, but the how around it is even more important than what you're actually doing. And that's one of the core, focuses that we have in the organization and the culture that we're building. It's about how you're treating people, how you are building relationships. At the end of the day, we are operating within a really competitive and crowded space. So the best way that we're going to be able to be successful as an organization, as well as our internal people, is the way that we're approaching relationships and the way that we're building the community around us. And so that's been one of the most important things that we've really built internally in our organization.
It's smart, and I've had the privilege of hearing some of the values that you've put together too. And as we know, people do business with people, right? So so it really does reflect in the way that you're scaling. And we're coming up to the end here. I could ask Danielle questions all day. I mean, she's really somebody who is my go-to for all people challenges and incentives, and she's really smart and brilliant in her field. So hopefully, if there's any questions that you have for Danielle, she's definitely a leader in the people space, and something that's increasingly becoming more and more valuable as technology begins to take over a lot of things. So
stay with you, Heather.
Yeah, thanks
humans investing in humans.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you both so much. And my last thing would be, Danielle, if someone is interested in learning more, in following up, where online should they go?
Yes. We have a couple websites. One, CKBG.com, as well as our LinkedIn page. And then if you're interested in Komos, which is our flagship product, Komos.com as well.
Right here.
Yes, these beautiful bottles.
And I was going to say, we'll have a little shout out for Komos at the very end as we get closer to happy hour. So perfect. Danielle, Heather, thank you so much for joining us. I am thrilled to have you on stage. And we will let you go and roll into our very final session.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks so much,
Incredible
Catherine.
building.
Thank you.